Greetings everyone. Welcome to the next episode of Business Application. So as we discussed last session, so we are basically discussing the fundamentals of Dynamics 365 and continuing the same series now. Today we are going to discuss about the fundamentals of Power Platform. So in these two sessions, after covering our fundamentals, then we will be jumping into more details for that individual apps that is part of the Dynamics 365 as well as part of the Power Platform. So in the coming sessions, so we will have more on the individual components and individual apps. Okay, so here is the agenda for today. So we will be just like last session, we will be starting with the basic of the Power Platform, and we will discuss that what are the core components which is forming a Power Platform, and then we will see that why we should use the Power Platform and who can use Dynamics 365. This kind of a typo, like, but it should be like who can use the Power Platform. So, and we are also going to discuss like now Dynamics 365 and Power Platforms are basically a same thing, and they are a single platform. And then we will see the demo of the apps that is part of the Power Platform, and then we will see some reference, which is the documentation reference, and where you can get some more details about the Power Platform. Okay, so here is the quick introduction about ourselves. Myself Mahender, and I'm principal consultant at Himbab. So I have been more than 16 years working with the Microsoft technologies, and I'm multiple time Microsoft Business Application MVP as well as CSharpCorner MVP. And I have authored 3 books for Dynamics 365. And I have with me Venkata, who is a lead software engineer at APM, and he's also working in more than 13 years of experience in the Microsoft technology. He's also Microsoft Business MVP and as well as CSharpCorner MVP, as well as he's Microsoft trained certified for that Azure as well as the Power Platform. So Venkatesh, just say hi to our audience.
Hi everyone, good to see you again.
Okay, so now let's jump into the first topic. So as I said that we are discussing about the fundamentals of the Power Platform today. So Power Platform basically we can say it's a complete ecosystem which combine multiple apps that we can see here. So we have multiple apps that is part of the Power Platform. So like Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agent, and Power Pages. So these all the apps combined make a ecosystem which provides us a platform where we can develop different type of applications. So where Power BI help us to build business analytics, interactive reports on the top of our data which is part of the Power Platform, or we can also connect with the different sources, whether it's a simple Excel file or a CSV file, or we have any known Microsoft DB, as well as if we can also consume some services here in the Power BI and build a rich reports using the Power BI. The next app that we have is the Power Apps, which is basically app development tool which help us to build any device specific application. So we can very quickly build that application, like earlier when we used to work with the other development tools like Visual Studio. So we have to code lots of, and we have to write lots of code to build the screens and all those things. But in Power Platform, we can build that app very quickly. Okay, Microsoft provides some samples as well, which we can use to build our apps, or we can also build it from scratch, right? And then we have the Power Automate, which is basically a visual tool to automate our business logic, as well as we have different actions are there, different triggers are there, which we can use to automate our repetitive task. Every business have lots of repetitive task or the business process. So those can be automated using the Power Automate. And next we have the Power Virtual Agent, which help us to provide a better customer service to our customers. So it provide chatbot, for example, let's say if you have a public website, and you can build the chatbot which can answer some of the basic questions or the question that you have recorded earlier. So you don't need any individual support engineer sitting there. So your chatbot can answer questions that you have already feed in that. And then we have the Power Pages. This is a very popular tool of Microsoft Power Platform to build the public websites. Okay, so these apps basically work on the top of the Dataverse. So Dataverse is the cloud base, you can say, that where all the data, which is basically for the power from the Power Platform as well as our Dynamics 365, that all the data is stored into the Dataverse. So earlier we used to call it Common Data Services when initially it was introduced as a part of the Power Platform, but now we call it Dataverse. And then we have another component which is AI Builder, where we can utilize the AI capabilities of the Power Platform. So we have a different models that we can train, and based on the models we can work on the data on or our sales data, or we can use them on the Power Automate to read our documents, to fetch the data from the invoices or the PDF files. So all these things are available into the AI Builder, right? And then we have the data connector, which basically help us to connect all these applications as well as other application which is not part of the Power Platform. It's a non Microsoft application. So these connector help us to pass the data between these two applications back and forth. So as you know that when we work with two technologies and we want to set up a communication between two technologies, so we need to have set up some channel, right, which is basically can pass the information from back and forth. So data connector do the same thing here in the Power Platform. So there are more than 200 connectors are available that is provided by the Microsoft as well as the Microsoft vendors. But if required, you can also build your own custom connector to communicate with the other applications as well. So all these basically application combinedly build this ecosystem and provide us a platform where we can build our applications. Okay, now let's know about what was the initial history of the Power Platform, and since when it started. So in around 2013 in September, Microsoft introduced the Power BI. So that was we can say that was kind of a formation that started as a Power Platform. So that was the first product that was released here. So Power BI was used for the building our interactive reports. And in 2016 Microsoft introduced Flow as a tool to automate our business processes. So we can say that it's a visual workflow. And these basically, that was a very you can say that it was a milestone for the different type of user groups. Earlier, for example, the functional consultants, right? So earlier, whenever we want to build any logic, so we need to have some technical person who should be aware of that technical any technical code languages like the Visual Studio, CSharpCorner. They should be aware of that, how to use or how to write the code. But with the introduction about the this Flow in 2016, they provided that flexibility to the functional consultant, or in a typical term that we use for them as a citizen developers, right? Now the functional consultant can also build a logic using the Flow. So they don't need to know any kind of the technical they don't need to be any technical background. They can easily build that using the Flow. And around November 2018, Microsoft formed a Power Platform, and there they combined all these apps. So Power BI as well as the Flow, and they also use other apps and build this platform. And around 2019, they introduced the virtual agent, which basically we use for building the chatbots. And in 2020, they introduced the Power Portals, which is basically for building that public websites, right? So, and now Microsoft is investing lots of on this Power Platform. So they are adding lots of new features, and the improvement is continuously going on this, and we are getting lots of new features with that every waves that we used to get yearly, right? So Microsoft, all of these app that is part of the Power Platform, and now Dynamics 365 is also part of the Power Platform. And in fact, the current that we see, the Dynamics 365, which is basically built on the Power Platform as well, right? So as a whole, this Power Platform provide us a development environment which we can say that it's a low code, no code solution for building that application which can work on the multiple devices. So they don't build just for targeting one device like web browsers or mobile. So they can work on the multiple devices. So let's have a look up, on that individual app. So this is a screen, like you can see here that for the Power BI, you can see here this is a Power BI, service, and we used to get that Power BI have the multiple component that we use. For example, we do all that report designing and our development on the Power BI desktop. And once we are done with our development, then we publish that on the Power BI services, and we can use the Power BI from the mobile as well as the tablet client. So it provides us different options, to interact with our data. Okay, so you don't need to be dependent on this one. So for example, your management, they just want to quickly see that what is statics going on, how this opportunity is working, how many sales we are getting, so that they can easily go in on the mobile and they can check the data very quickly from there. Then we have the next one, this Power App, which basically is a low code, no code platform that help us to build it any device specific application. So there are lots of applications are built daily on that require process of maybe recording your inventory, or maybe just keeping track of your assets in your office. So you can simply build that apps using the Power Apps within the few hours or within the few minutes, you can say that. And that help us to automate your processes. You don't need to track all these things on your your notebooks or your Excel files or something, but you can simply build a app and you can track it anywhere, right? So that provide us this flexibility, the Power Apps. And then we have the Power Automate. So as you can see that this is the typical designer here, and this is example of that Power Automate, where we are building basically the different steps are there, and we can decide based on this condition, this section should be performed or this section should be performed. So we will have more details on this when we have the demo on that. But this is provide us the typical have the triggers, and the different actions are there which we can use to perform the different type of conditions, and based on the conditions we can perform different actions. And then we have the Power Pages, which help us to build our websites. We can build the public website very quickly. So like other application, there also Microsoft has provided some templates which we can use, and we can simply go ahead and configure. You don't need to be a pro developer. You can use those existing templates, and you can do the modification, whether it's a style sheet modification or you want to change the images of that websites. Everything can be done from the UI. Okay, but if you are a pro developer, then that will be benefited, and you can do some more changes on that depending on the requirement. Okay, and now so that's the basic introduction about the Power Platform and its component. Now So then that question comes into the mind that why we should use that power platform. Like, what are the main features that is we have here. So all the, as I said, that the component that we discuss basically forms this power platform. So we have, like, we can act on the different data, depending on the data and depending on the your requirements. You can build the logic in the power apps. Okay, so we can build our mobile app, or app for tablet or the browser, and we can put different kind of logics there. So we have simple expression that we use the power fx. So it's like a simple expression that we write in the excel. So those kind of expression can be written to put your logic, and you can say, like, for example, on the button click, you want to perform some kind of action. So those things are very easily in the power apps that we can build. So in power apps, basically we build two type of applications. One is the canvas app, which is a lightweight applications, and where we don't interact very heavily with the data. And another one that we have the model driven apps, and in the model driven app we heavily interact with the data. So the apps that we discussed in the last session about the dynamics 365, like sales, marketing, field service, all these are basically comes into the model driven app category. Okay. And then we have the power automate, where we can automate our business processes, whether it's a leave approval policies or leave approval process that you need to do, or whether it's a any kind of opportunity related approval that you need to provide. Depending on that, these can be this task can be automated using the power automate. Okay, so you don't need to do those repetitive tasks and again manually. You can just design these ones, and you can decide, like, we have option for the scheduling as well. So you can schedule that this process should run on this time period, and then it will work accordingly. And then next component that we have here for analyzing our data. So we can use the power bi to build that interactive reports, and we have option to refresh the data. So there are different intervals are there, which you can configure, and you can say that, okay, all the data that is part of my report should be refreshed during this time interval. So it will be refreshed accordingly. Okay. And of course, so you have the different data sources that you can connect on the power bi. So it's not just like you can consume the data which is coming from the power platform or the dynamics 365. You can connect with the different data sources, and you can combine them on the single report. So some data is coming from the third party dbs, and some data is coming from your power platform or dynamics 365, and you can provide that interactive reports in the single place for your customers, right? And then we have that for the better and efficient customer service, we can use the chatbot. You don't need to be have so many manpower there who's sitting on answering the questions. So you can build that chatbot and automate your some specific very common answers that required by the your customers. So whether it's a public website or wherever you want to put, you can integrate it there, right? And the last one is that the to build that public website, we can use the power pages now. Earlier we used to call it the power portal, but now recently Microsoft changed it to the power pages. And in the power pages we can build our public website. And all the apps that we have, all apps are basically integrated to each other. So we can consume the data from one app to the another app, and we can show the data. So for example, if we are building some model driven app, so we can build canvas app, and we can embed our canvas app into the model driven app, right? And similarly, the report that we have built on the power bi, that can be we can uh, display that dashboards and reports into as a our model driven apps as well. So everything can be easily integrated, and data can be shared between them. Now, so who can use Power Platform? So this is that I have taken this screenshot from the Microsoft website. So these are the some of the customers which are basically utilizing Power Platform for their day-to-day activities, and they are automating their business processes using the tools that is available as a part of the Power Platform, right? And the regions are same here. So if you want to implement the digital transformations, or we want to improve the customer relationships, right? Because we can, as I said, that we can build different applications on that. So it's not CRM specific. We can build any type of application using the Power Apps. And then using these efficient tools, of course we can grow our customers business or our business and utilize these tools, right? So this is that basic fundamentals here, and let me show you here that you know that these are basically the landing pages for the Power Platform. So as you can see here, that we have the main components, that is as we discussed, like Power BI, Power Apps, and Power Automate, Power Virtual Agent. So every details are there here. If you want, you can go through more on that. And here are some of the customer service, their customer studies are there, that is available as a part of this landing page. You can go through that if you want to go on the much more details here, and you can read those studies. And you can see that these are the some of the data that is provided by the Microsoft, where companies are utilizing Power Platform features, and they are improving their business outcomes, right? Okay, and you can also see here, these are the report, the Gartner, that is published, and they had said that this the tools that is part of the Power Platforms are basically you can go through and you can read the complete report here on that. Okay, so this is what I wanted to cover as a part of that fundamental introductions, and then I will pass mic to my friend Venkatesh, who can show you some more on demo on these tools. So over to you, Venkatesh.
Yeah, thank you, Mahender, for giving us. Just give me a minute. Let me share my screen. Okay,
Yeah,
hope you can see my screen. Yep.
yeah, we can see it.
So, hi everyone. So, welcome back again for this Power Platform Fundamentals series. So, here, right, so till now, that just you have uh, look at like what's the power platform is about, and what are the power apps that are present, and what are all the various things that are available. So as in show and tell kind of thing. So this is what you can see it. So normally any starts with the option like make.powerapps.com. Okay, so this is the landing page if you wanted to build an canvas app kind of things. So basically this is the apps that are present. Just I will give an uh, explanation. Like this is a home screen where we'll get the options from the scratch, and we do have the backend like the Dataverse, we can use it, and also the backends other than the SharePoint and the Excel and the SQL also can be used. And there are certain other things that are also available, like these are on the preview mode. So I'm saying that these should not be tried out for the production purposes, but once they are available for the public availability, then this can be uh, seen. Okay, so this image preview and the Figma preview. So just you can ask me a question. So okay, Venkat, just you said about the Power Apps. Now just tell out, okay, how to create an Canvas app. So just before stepping to that, Canvas apps that is present here, if you go to the new app, and you can create this particular Canvas app. And model driven app, this is in the the first episode of our show, that is dynamics fundamentals. You might have seen all the things like sales or service and all. This will comes under the model driven. And the third option is the website. This is where earlier we used to call the ADX portals, all those things. This is called the power pages. All these things comes under this particular website, so don't get confused there. So website is nothing but this particular power pages. So this is when coming to this home, right? Quickly we can, if at all, if I wanted to create any particular app, so example, let us create one particular Dataverse app. So that means what it is saying, right? I am trying to create an app within a less than 1 or 2 minutes. So for that, where my database is my Dataverse. So for that, just I am saying about Microsoft Dataverse. I'm going to select. Just I'm going to click on create. So which eventually ask for certain check-in. Okay. So just I'm going to create an allow access. So once that is present, then done. My backend is ready. So just it took 10 seconds for me. Okay. And then just I am going to click on the connect. So what I'm going to see, right? Just I have established the connection with the Dataverse. Then the next table, right? Next thing is it was asking for me to connect. Okay, I have connected from the app. I have connected to the Database, that is the backend. So to which particular table that you wanted to connect? I say I wanted to connect to the um, contact, and then just I click on connect. So boom, your app is ready, and it will take a few seconds for you to build this particular app. Microsoft its intelligence and all the framework will help you to create it. So just see it here. This is production ready. Okay, so my app is ready, where I can search my item, example Venkat. If I search on, just I will get some details here. Okay, so example, if I wanted to see these details, Maria, already it is present. So this is the sample data. I can edit it and save these particular details. Okay, so it has been saved. So let us check. Okay, this details has been saved. Okay, uh, let us so let me create this one. So if you observe, right, normally for any creating any particular contact, for the people who all already know, the first name, last name is the mandatory thing. So the last name should be provided. So for here, this needs to be customized a bit, like to keep the fields like the last name and the first name. But to see it here, I can, so I can perform, this app will have all the details, like example here, right? All my contact is present here, and just I have saved it. If you observe, my record has been saved, and if you observe, all my details also present. Okay, so basically any app, that what it requires, just it needs an app to create a contact, and also to see this particular details, and also to edit it. And also if I want, right, I can these are all the sample contacts that I do have. Just if I wanted to delete this one, I can simply delete it without any issue. So basically within a matter of 1.5 minute, I could create an app which is production ready, which can create a contact and update a contact and delete a contact as well. Okay, so this is how just I can create any particular canvas app. Okay, just what I did, just I have followed a two-step process, just click and click. But at the background, our the framework and the intelligence, it helps us to create all these things for us. Okay, this is what Mahender said about low code, no code. If you observe, I have not written a single line of code, but an app is ready. How it is possible at the back end? Microsoft has did a phenomenal job here, whereby making the user friendliness on behalf of the user. It has created through its framework all the components that are required. If you observe, right, this is the browse screen, and this is the details screen, and also this is the edit screen. So normally, right, if any developer who wanted to build this particular one with an app, basically, right, so just I can save this app. What I mean to say, right, if you wanted to build this app, right, from the scratch with normally for the .NET or the ASP.NET or any HTML language or any web language, it will at least take more than 2 hours to create it. But now with this, with the creation of this particular Power Apps Canvas app, it took for me the 3 minutes, less than 3 minutes of time to create this particular app. Okay, so just I'm closing this particular one. So this is how what I said, right? This is just as an introductory session of just an canvas app with an Dataverse as an backend. In the similar way, in the coming sessions we will be going to see about in depth about all the other details. And also, so basically, right, the look and feel, all these things will be you can do it by using these particular canvas apps. And in the same way, if at all you have the multiple things which needs to be carried out at the back end, example, on the creation of a contact, if you wanted to send an email to the respective contact, right, then that does not require any particular intervention. In simple words, few things that can be asynchronous in nature. That means few of the things that can be carried out at the back end, right? So those kind of logics can be done by using this particular Power Automate flows. Let me zoom in here. So this is what the particular flows is about. And if you click on this particular flows, then it will end up and to an place where we have the multiple ways of creating these particular flows. Again, these flows we can create it automated cloud flow. Example, every 1 week, just send an emailer saying that happy weekend. And instant cloud flow, if you wanted an occasional some logic that needs to be triggered, then we'll go for it. And schedule cloud flow, then simply for every 1 hour or for every 3 days, if you wanted to send in reminders, then we can go for the scheduled cloud flow. And the automated cloud flow means simply if at all there is any trigger, example, contact created, with the creation of this particular contact, an email needs to be sent, then that we will go for this automated cloud flow. And the last one is so describe it to design it. This is a preview feature which will be interest of its kind. We'll be going to cover it in the coming sessions. And the desktop flow, most of the people, they might have been heard about the automation, robotic process automation, RPA, and UI flows, all the desktop automation. Those all comes under this particular desktop flow. Okay, and as I said before, Power Apps, you can open it with make.powerapps.com, and in the same way, Power Automate also you can open it with make.powerautomate.com. Okay, so if you observe, right, here we do have certain templates that are already available. Simply notify me on the Teams, example, analyze incoming emails and save email attachments to the file system, and save Outlook email attachments to your drive. Okay, so enough explanation for this. You can ask me, okay, Venkat, come on, let's do one particular flow. How much time it will take? So let me explain you. Just I will take an example of instant cloud flow. Just I can skip the creation of the particular, I can name this particular flow at any other point of time. So example, right, so just I'm creating a condition, just I'm creating an, so I'm connected to the Dataverse, that is create. So if you observe, right, we do have few of the options that are present when when a row is added or modified or deleted, then when an action is performed. So simply what I'm doing, just an added when a row is added into an contact. So I am saying, okay, if an contact is being created, then please fire this flow. Just I'm giving the scope as for now just an organization scope, and it will take a couple of seconds to save this one. So what it was saying, right, it has some 14 things, it requires an premium license. So just for the demo purpose I will see it here, and okay, just I will see it here, the compose. Okay, so let us test it, and just I'm saving it. So your flow is ready. What I am saying, right, there are no runs to this particular flows. That's why you can do it. If you wanted to add anything, right, you can already do that one. So this is how you can simply create a particular flow. And here, if you wanted to navigate here, this is the flows where the power apps button, all these things that are present here. So just here also you can select any particular environment that is already present. So just I am navigating you like to in between the environments. So generally, right, so in any of the project, we do have the certain phases like the development environment and the testing environment and the UAT or the production environment, right? There we will switch our environments. So there we can do all these things. We can switch off the environments. If you observe, I do have the dev environment, other developer environment, and some bootcamp. This is my default environment. Okay, so like this we can create any particular flows that are present. And also, right, as mentioned earlier, we can create certain chatbots as well. So if you wanted to create any particular chatbot, then this is an option where you can simply click on that particular one, and you can simply directly go ahead and create this particular new chatbot. So for the interest of the time, I'm not going to explain all these things in the details, but in the coming days we'll be definitely seeing it. Okay, and also few of the things that you might be interesting to show already for the viewers who are already working on the power apps. These are all the major latest advancements from this particular uh, power apps studio. Like we do have the new symbol, the power platform. As I am in the power apps, right, if I wanted to navigate to here, to the power automate or virtual agents or the power platform admin center, I can simply go to here. Example, if I wanted to go to the power pages, simply if you observe make.powerpages.microsoft.com, boom, my power pages are ready, where I can build my apps that are present. So this is how you can go it. And also the major question that we'll have, okay Venkat, that you are saying everything that is fine, how can we learn this one? I am a beginner, I don't know anything about the canvas apps, all these things you are explaining, that is fine, but how can we do a self study? So don't worry, here we do have a beautiful documentation that were given by Microsoft. Get started with power apps, that is the beginner one. If you click on that one, it will get landed into the get started with the power apps canvas apps. We do have the different modules that are present, like whatever that we both said here, right? These are all present. If you spend some time like the 51 minutes, then you will understand like what are the introduction of power apps, all the building blocks, ways to build it, create your first app, and additional power apps related technologies and design, all these things that you will be having it. Okay, and also few of the things, these are all the beginner level topics that are present. And if you have got some knowledge about how to create an Power Apps, that is the Canvas app and all. Then you can go with an intermediate things like, okay, work with an external data. So if you observe here, I do have the Dataverse, SharePoint, Excel, and the SQL that are present. So Dataverse is a more native kind of things, and SharePoint and Excel is also a few of the things that are native to the Microsoft. Okay. But in case if you wanted to perform any other external integrations with your apps, okay, then we can go with this working with that external data. So where you can have all these details that are present. So don't get worry, we will be going into the deep dive sessions of how to do all these things and all. And so and also we do have a beautiful documentation like here, the Power Apps creator kit that are present, where it will help you to provide you the guided learning here. So introduction to model driven apps and the customizing the Canvas app, all you can get to it here. So what is Dataverse and Canvas apps, model driven apps, all these details that are present. Not only that, you can also get more details about this get started with responsive Canvas apps, whatever the respective latest videos uh, related to the low code, no code, these are already available here. The best part here was there is no need for you to open again another tab and go search in the Google or the Bing and get the details of what are all the latest things and all. Simply you can click on this one, getting started with Canvas apps. Boom, you well, that is already available. If you observe here, this is an official channel from the Microsoft one only, the Microsoft Power Platform. So with that, just this is an introduction, like what are all the things that are present, and the other than things, we do have the AI models and the data flows that are also present, which we are going to tell you about in the coming sessions. So anything that you wanted to add, Mahinder?
No, I think you added, provided most of the details that we wanted to cover on that, and just want to add, like as we said that earlier, these two topics, the two sessions that we did, that was just to give you an idea that what is basically Dynamics 365, and what are the apps that is part of the Dynamics 365, as well as what is Power Platform, and how the Power Platform form a complete ecosystem which provide us a low code no code environment to build different device specific applications. Right now in the coming sessions, so we will be going through deeper into these individual apps, and then we will be taking some kind of that topics, and then we will do start building that applications, and then we will cover these individual apps project or maybe topic that we will take. So stay tuned with us, and all of our sessions recordings are available onto this C Sharp Corner live channel event. So you can also see that if you are not able to join our earlier sessions, you can view that video on the YouTube, and stay tuned us for the more coming sessions where we will discuss more detail on this. So yeah, I think that's what we wanted to cover in this session today. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.